Mic'd up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, our thousands and thousands of loyal fans. Welcome to Yankees Coast to Coast with my co-host Mike Miller and myself, Adam Schneider. We only have the two of us tonight, no guests. It's gonna be a long night.
They're going to be suffering. So,
I feel for it.
just us. So sorry about that. Want to remind you, as always, leave us a message. 30 seconds. If you're watching live, just hit the microphone on the bottom. 30-second message. Leave as many as you want. As you know, I leave many on the Highlights from Low Life show, so you can leave as many for us. There are several people who left us trivia questions, which we'll get to at the end, which we usually can't answer. And if we can't answer it, if you're listening live, please give us the answer as I go through puberty as my voice changes. I'd like to be able to answer your questions as best we can. Topics for tonight, really general topic of how are the Yankees doing so far to start the season with their very good record, and they're near the top of the standings. And then, of course, we'll get into the trivia. We do want to say we have two birthdays today. First birthday was actually sent to us by Big Juicy, Dave Hall, my manager. It is the oldest living former Major League player's birthday. He turned 100 today. He is up in Sonoma County. His name is Art Schlack. He's 100 years old today. He played 5 years in the majors, 4.5 of them with the New York Yankees.
And playing in our over 55 league now.
Yes, he's playing in our over 55 league. He also served in the U.S. Navy beginning in 1942 as a radio operator and earned 11 battle stars.
Thank you for your service, Mr. Schlock, whatever his name is, Schlockett, whatever his name is.
Shalak is his name. He was involved. He played a role in the invasions of Iwo Jima and Okinawa during World War II. So really got it. And the second birthday. Friend of the show, man that absolutely acts and lives and looks like he's over 100 years old, the best on-site broadcaster, live remote leader, Daniel Q. Kramer, Esquire. Happy birthday, Danny boy.
Happy birthday, Kramer. We love you.
We shake his head like this because even though Danny boy is maybe 50 years old, he does shake like he's got the worst case of Parkinson's. Happy birthday, Danny boy! And he won't call into the.
I'm sorry. I don't know. Whenever people call him Dan, I don't know who they're talking about. I go, who? They say Dan. He's coming. Who? It's not Dan. He's Kramer. There is no Dan. I don't get this. I think there's probably 10,000 people who will agree with me, and everyone at Fantasy Camp. Nobody knows him as Dan.
Nobody knows him as Dan. Everybody knows him as Kramer. And really, they pronounce his name, unlike the Seinfeld Kramer, where they announce the R. He's generally Krama at camp. Kramer.
Well, you're Miller.
Yes, I'm Miller. But it's happy birthday, Dan. Q Kramer. Did you know the Q stands for Quimby?
Oh, no. I thought it was Quinine.
Oh, no. It's Dan Quimby Kramer. So I
need a little boost here. I want Kramer in the shot tonight. Let's have a little thank you. Maybe we should have had him on the show tonight. What do you think? Nah, changed my mind.
Yeah. It would have been his birthday. It's his birthday. He's out celebrating. He's probably got a date with 3 different women. He's Kramer.
Yeah. 3 different women.
Granted, they're all blow-up dolls, but that's the story.
All right. On that note, what are we going to talk about tonight, my compatriot?
The first place. Oh, don't go there, Johnny boy. Listen, the first place. 17-8 New York Yankees. They took first place over again yesterday after they were out of first place for a day. They have a half a game lead over the Orioles. And I want to go right to a caller. Frankie the Yankee has something to say about the Yankees. Let's listen to Frankie. We'll let him lead off the show.
Right.
Frankie here. The Yankees are doing well. They're in first place, and you are what your record is. A little concerning about the hitting. The 19th in hitting this year, better than 29th like last year, and a good sign last night to see runners being driven in from third base with less than 2 outs with Verdugo and Soto. And the pitching staff, still not enough pitches going past the fifth or into the sixth or seventh inning.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. We could end the show. We're done now.
Well, thank you very much for coming today, folks. We appreciate it. Yankees Coast to Coast signing off. Listen, I don't disagree. There's nothing, he's absolutely right. It's the classic embarrassment of riches. They're having a good year. They're almost fun to watch. I have moments of being more enjoyable, and it's just because Soto is so good. Um, but 17-8, you can't really feel bad about a 680 winning percentage. And I like that they're winning on the road. They're 9-4. They're 8-4 at home. I mean, it's good. Run differential, whether you believe in that stuff or not, it's okay. Um, but my feeling on it is there is the beast to the south. I think the Orioles are gonna turn it on and they're gonna win. And I think that part of it is just they've got a better all around team. And their pitching is younger and healthier. It seems. Hopefully, they'll get everybody back. But my worry about the Yankees is just having to compete in this division. It's incredible. The Rays are the only team that I feel like they could. Well, Red Sox, I'm sure will also be a problem. Will no longer be the problem they are right now. But the Blue Jays really scare me. They play very well. So it's a hard. It's hard for me to feel 100% confident about this team winning the division, but I certainly think they're certainly a very strong playoff contender, and we'll see. You know, but everything Frankie said is right. What do you think? Come on,
Well,
what do you think?
I think Frankie's right. I mean, he put it in a nutshell. I'm very concerned. There's a lot to be thought about in the offense. If you think about the first two games of the Oakland series, the Yankees scored runs in one inning in each of the first two games. And
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, but for the balk yesterday, Judge wouldn't have hit the home run. And it was a balk. Even the A's announcers that I get out here, um, uh, they said it was a balk. He didn't stop, and they called the balk, and he called it right away. But the Yankees have some issues offensively. I mean, I'm looking at the major league stats, and you know their OPS is not good. They're just above league average for a team that's doing that well, but
Uh-huh.
their on percentage is pretty good. It's like fifth in the majors or sixth in the majors, but it's still only 328. Their batting average is horrendous at 236. It's below league average, which makes their on base percentage that much more impressive. Of course, they no longer lead the league in hitting into double plays, so that's a good thing.
Hmm.
Um, so that's
Who's got
that's good.
who's
But
got that distinction today?
the double ground and double plays, that would be the Miami Marlins have 30. The Yankees have 28.
With what are they still like 4-11, 4-20?
I don't know.
What's
They
their
tell
record?
I have no idea. I'm
Their
not looking.
record is not much better. 6-20 with a 231 on base percentage, and already they've played 26 games. They've already got a negative 47 run differential. They've given up
Yeah.
135 runs already. Wow,
And
wow.
what you have to like is the Yankees have 107 walks in 25 games.
Yeah.
They're aver- they're averaging 5 walks, almost four walks a game, four and
Mm-hmm.
a quarter walks a game. And they've struck out 196 times, but that puts them in the bottom third of baseball as far as strikeouts.
Yeah, they're ninth right now, but they finished 10th last year, so it's the same problem as last year. Which is they're sort of
No, but they're
it's
walking
still
so much more this year.
yeah, the walks are incredible. They're first in the league. They finished third last year. So again, this is not something that they're not suddenly doing something they didn't do last year. Still striking out, and they're
Well,
walking a little bit more, which is good. And you know what the difference is? Is they've got the difference is Soto. Soto is
yeah.
insane when it comes to
Well,
these at bats. Are just fantastic to watch.
Well, the walk percentage, even though they're second in the league in walks behind the Dodgers, their walk percentage is the highest in baseball. They walk 11% of the time. and their strikeout percentage is in the bottom third, and it's 20.8% of the time. So what's interesting though is the lowest strikeout team percentage-wise in baseball is the Astros, and they're struggling mightily. So it's there's some interesting things that are out there. And as far as home run percentage, they're not as reliant on the home run. You know, they're just above league average as far as home runs go. And runs per game, or the runs per game scares me because the runs per game is right at the league average. I mean, league average is 437 and they're at 4.4. So they're not scoring that many runs.
That's right. And they haven't gotten enough. They just haven't gotten enough from certain guys. I mean, there's just no
they're not hitting any extra base hits. I mean, they're in the bottom third of baseball. 31% of their hits are extra base hits.
All right. So people in our let's talk about some of the, let's go granular and look at some of the players' performances so far. Everyone was happy about Stanton. I think he's reverting back to what it was. His average is down to 239. How in the world he can have an on-base percentage of 289 just, blows me away. That he's not taking more walks, still swinging at everything low and outside. Last night, I couldn't believe he struck out on one pitch that he swung at a fastball. It was a fastball swing, and it was a slider 8 inches off the plate. He did not see it. He didn't see it. It was just, I mean, it wasn't just a ball player guessing wrong. He just decided, you know what, I'm going to swing. And he did, and he struck out, sat down. So that's troubling me a little bit. I don't see it happening. He's got 25 strikeouts already. Only Judge has more. And Judge is getting off to a bad start. I think this is what we're going to expect from him right now. I'm
Getting
not.
Getting back to Stan, one of the things, and this is from the A's, again, from the A's broadcast. So I think they have a new, Volpe led off with a single. The A's have a new full-time broadcaster. I forgot her name. She's actually really, really good. And Dallas Braden is much better with her than he was beforehand. But they came out last night and they said the Yankees have a 182 batting average on four-seam fastballs that are 95 miles an hour or higher. That tells me, first of all, we know Stanton can't get around on that pitch. It looks like Glaber can't get around on that pitch right now. Rizzo is still struggling, and Judge is clearly struggling. So if you got those four guys that are struggling to get around on it, even with Verdugo second in the league and with the lowest strikeout percentage, it's really nice to see, but they can't get around on the fastballs. They just can't get around on the hard stuff. So they did a good job on the A's broadcast because the A's started that guy yesterday, Joe, what's his face? Bailey, I think, or his name was?
No, they were talking about, no, that was 2 days ago.
He's a hard thrower, really hard thrower. And
what do you think of this guy? Let's talk about the A's for a second, then we'll give up because it's just horrible to watch. It's a terrible baseball team. But no offense. I know you work for them. I know they're your employer.
They're not as bad as they were.
But who's this guy in the bullpen? Tell me about this guy. Miller? Is he related? Are you family? Is he your grandson?
No. Wait, before we go, I have to say something else. My brother Todd chimed in, and two things he chimed in. It is my niece Jamie's 17th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
So Jamie's birthday is today, and Jamie is 17 years old.
Wow, what a life.
Way to go, Jamie. Unlike your Jamie, who's older than that, isn't Jamie?
It will be 21 in September. I'm so proud. Proud old dad.
I was trying to look at something. I was also told to take a look at my Jamie is a friend of the show, according to Todd.
Does that mean she's actually one of our 9 viewers?
We have 9,000 viewers.
There is a dream. Can you imagine if we had 9,000 viewers? We had sponsors and people calling us. What fun! What fun we would have.
If we would have 9 viewers, we should be good. So Todd said that we should look at the White Sox run differential. It is after 25 games, it's negative 85.
Yeah, it's just incredible, isn't it?
It's like watching the San Jose Sharks. Um, so yeah, it's
So we got Stanton up right now. He's already got his bases loaded.
oh, Judge
One
walked.
zero. He's 1-0 bases loaded. You've
Who's pitching for?
got Volpe, Soto, and Judge. Who's pitching? Noli, Nola. I can't quite see it because I can't read the uniform backs anymore because of words. Is it Wood? All right, so he.
Oh, it's Alex Wood, the guy who got tossed out of the game yesterday.
Oh, they're
After the
showing
ball
you.
call, he got tossed. Anyhow, so on the offensive side of things, there is a lot of problems that need to be
No.
addressed on the Yankees. First of all, Cabrera's going back to where he was. You know, he's down, although he's hitting with guys on base, he's down to 263. So that's a little bit of an issue. Volpe has started to slump a little, although he got a hit tonight. He's down to 293. Glaber is among the worst hitters in baseball with 100 plate appearances. I looked it up on there, and
Stanton just struck out.
there's only a couple of guys with significant plate appearances that are worse than Glaber out of the 400 and something batters, and two of them are Joey Gallo, which is to be expected, and the other, I know this because he's on my fantasy team, is Randy Arozarena. So
That's a surprise. He was
Rosarena.
They keep talking about it. It's just like it screwed himself up with
Muscles.
weightlifting, with weight work. He really overdid it. So we'll see how that plays. The thing about Glaber, I'm not going to talk about his defense again, but now I'm going to talk about his at bats are so bad. You've got to admit, there's just something wrong. And again, he stopped going the other way. It's one of those things where you have to think that if he just went the other way, 35% of the time, 40% of the time, he'd fall into some hits. But he still always pulls the ball, and he's got his ass. He's got his tuchus in the dugout again.
Yankees didn't score. Rizzo hit a double play. He double by a single by Volpe, double by Soto, walk by Judge, bases loaded, nobody out. Stanton strikes out. Rizzo double play. Anyhow, he looks so good.
That's what we're talking about here.
Right, his first at bat of the season, he looked so good, and he started looking like he was going to go to right field. Now, every time he swings, like I've been telling you, he's opening his hips and putting his butt in the third base dugout. And it's really disturbing to see when a guy is shown that he can do the right thing and be that good, that he just isn't doing it. Could it possibly be that he's stressed out over his contract situation? I mean, he's making $14 million this year. How much more does he have to be making? Yeah, what does he have to be stressed about? It's not like somebody's not going to pay him. Even if he has a crap year, somebody's not going to pay him $12 million next year.
Well, look at some of the guys. Look at Bellinger, who got hurt. I just heard he broke a rib or something.
Yeah, he broke a rib.
Look at him. Had a great year last year, but the metrics look bad. And some of the secondary metrics were problematic, and he could barely get a job this year. Going back to the Cubbies and at a tenth of the price. I mean, they wanted a lot of money for him.
Well, I don't know. I do know this: if the Yankees offer Torres arbitration in order to get a draft pick to replace him, he's going to be guaranteed $19 million next year. And the Yankees are going to have to offer him arbitration, or at least a qualifying offer, I should say. I'm sorry. They're going to have to offer him a qualifying offer because you can't let him walk away for nothing. And he's not going to have any trade value, which how I felt about trading him this offseason. Not that they have a replacement. Not that they have a replacement.
Well, we haven't heard anything about Peraza, right? Is there any news about him?
He just started throwing. I mean, that's the situation with Peraza. He just started throwing. He's not going to be ready for a while.
Your brothers has
Jones is not an. What? We got a whole bunch of messages. Let's
Your brother
see.
just keeps coming in.
My brother's going crazy.
He's very upset about the birthday.
Well, one of them is don't give any play-by-play. If they hear it, we should be in trouble. I didn't give play-by-play. I did it after the fact, where I gave those rundown of the inning. But he is right. You're not allowed to do any unauthorized use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game are prohibited by Major League Baseball. That I know that by heart tells you how many games I've listened to.
Right. When was who was the first person in your life to say that? Do you remember who the first?
It would have to be either Messer, Rizzuto, or White,
It was
because
definitely Messer did it. Messer did it all through the 70s because Rizzuto could never read.
Rizzuto couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Oh no, he could not do it. And let me ask you a question. I mean, I know we're getting off topic here, but why does Michael Kay on a home series? He's in New York doing his radio show, and he's taking a series up. What does he have against Oakland? He won't come out here when they travel, and now he won't even do the games when they're playing at the stadium. Leave Kramer's hood.
It's the stress of things. It's the stress of it all. You know, he's just so busy. You know, he's big macha. You know, and he doesn't have to do it. Or maybe they're just trying to showcase some new guys. And maybe that's it. Maybe they're thinking
Well,
it's
right
a guy
after,
these guys.
but right after they celebrated Sterling's 5,000 games in a row or whatever it was, he takes time off. So, hey, as far as the Yankees offense, my brother Todd does have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Judge and Soto should be flip-flopped for about a week, just so Judge bats in front and he gets more pitches because they don't want to pitch to Soto.
I love that idea.
That's not a bad idea, but they don't want to pitch to Soto now. He's got 20 walks and 16 strikeouts. And then he's got one other suggestion.
Volpe should not be leading off. Unfortunately, I still think Gleyber Torres should lead off, even though he sucks. But they were winning more consistently with him leading off.
Volpe should lead off, but the guy that should lead off sucks.
I think they lack of a Todd, I love you, but they lack a true leadoff hitter, or at least one that's fully baked. Volpe probably will be the guy long term, but
I have a different suggestion. If they're going to flip flop Judge and Torres, Judge and Soto, which I do think is a good idea, in order to go left, right, left, I would let Verdugo bat leadoff. I mean, I don't think he's a leadoff hitter either, but he's got a 360, 370 on base percentage, and it would allow them to go left, right, left. And he doesn't strike out, and he sees lots of pitches. So putting him in front of Judge and Soto might not be the worst idea. I don't mind Volpe batting leadoff when he's going well, but he's slumping now. And to go left, right, left, which I think, much to my own chagrin, does make a difference with regard to some players. Having Volpe bat leadoff against against lefties, and have Verdugo bat leadoff against righties would not be the worst thing ever. So against right-handed pitching, they would go Verdugo, Judge, Soto. And against left-handed pitching, they would go Volpe, Soto, Judge. Just to see what's going on and maybe mix it up a bit. Maybe Verdugo, with his high on-base percentage, will make a difference. Under no circumstances whatsoever, I don't care what their on-base percentage jumps up to, should Soto or Judge ever bat leadoff. I don't want to hear about the extra at-bats at the top of the order. They need to have at-bats with guys on base.
Mm.
So,
no, not a bad thought. I want to ask you something. Let's move to the other side of the battery right now. Let's talk about catching. What do you think about what's going on with Wells? Does Wells just seem out of? Has he regressed, or is this just being the I wouldn't say the starting catcher for the Yankees, but he certainly gets half the games. And what do you think? And probably should get more because of the righty lefty split.
Well, I think that the guys, again, I'm going to quote from the A's broadcast because that's what I get when they play the Yankees. The A's broadcaster said that right now Wells's defensive metrics, as far as blocking the ball and framing the ball, are among the best in baseball. Hey, guess who went to right field? Blocking the ball and framing the ball are among the best in baseball. Yankees catchers aren't throwing anybody out stealing. But
Yeah.
if he's going to be doing that, maybe he concentrated on defense so much, or he needs to go eat some more chicken parm with Volpe, and the two of them can get their bats going. I don't know. It's possible. But I don't mind. Right now, they're not getting offense from a lot of places, so it hurts them a little bit to have either him or Trevino right now. Although Trevino's hitting a little bit at 250. It
I
hurts.
think what I like Trevino. He's close. He tends to come through with a big hit now and again. So I don't hate his bat. They seem to love him behind the plate. I think they've got great catch. It is a little odd to me that he is so bad. But I love the bunt yesterday. I loved
Oh
Will's bunt. To me,
God,
that's I couldn't believe it. How far off the bag that guy was and how smart it was. I think they should all do that. I think they should do it. Once a game. Do
oh,
it.
Dallas Braden was like, the guy was 0 for 23. He definitely needed to do this. And Braden, the Yankees were up by 3 runs, I think, at the time. And Dallas Braden, the announcer for the color guy for the A's, he was like, "Yeah, you're 0 for 23. Get your butt on base. Turn the batting order over. Get it to the top. Get Soto up with men on base. Go from there." I mean, it wasn't offensive to anybody that he did it, and it's really nice that he did that.
I'm really amazed by something that you are absolutely one of the only people I've ever seen who can have a full conversation without moving their body at all. Your face has not moved in about 5 minutes.
Am I frozen?
Yeah, you are absolutely frozen.
Well,
So
cold in here, so I don't know what to tell you. How about now? Woo!
no, you're still looking. You're looking. You want to? Can you see me? This is how
Yeah,
you look.
I'm moving according to what I can see, and
This
you're
is how
moving.
you look right now. It's really funny. You're like this.
Well, that's my normal resting face. They call that resting a-hole face. Um, so
You
on the
want to
hitting
go
side,
off? Why don't you go off camera and come back and see what
all right.
finally got rid of him. Oh, damn, he's back.
My brother Todd chimed in. Am I back? This is Todd's opinion.
Mike is moving at top speed. That's it. He just doesn't move.
We're having fun.
It's a family trait, by the way.
Yes, we are having a good time
See,
tonight.
you already know my brother Richard can't move because he plays baseball with you. And if Todd ever plays, you'll see he moves. Not even he doesn't move either. He'll get hurt though. He's made of glass.
Todd's on the roster. We got a lot of Millets on the roster, and
Yeah.
I wonder if any of them are going to show up. You're the only one who's played at a game yet. So.
No, Richard played the same game I did. Remember, he missed that soft little line drive.
Oh, that's correct.
It was like a 4-year-old throwing it to him, and he couldn't catch it.
It was fun. All right. So anyway, anywho,
Rizzo also is not hitting. I mean, if you think about it, Rizzo's hitting 240.
Home runs in 2 games in a row. He's on it. That's a good sign.
Yeah, he's got homers and 11 ribbies. He's got only 7 walks and 23 strikeouts, so that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Glaber is 11 walks and 28 strikeouts going into today. And Judge,
unusual. Wow.
Judge, 17 walks, which is good. 31 strikeouts. Unbelievable.
That's incredible. So in what, 90 at bats? So he's got to be over 30%. Where is he now?
113 plate appearances, 94 at bats. What's interesting is Verdugo has 14 walks and 9 strikeouts going into today.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like, listen, I always take that. That's something that's rare in the game today. Guys who walk more than they strike out. So not bad. What else do you like about Verdugo? I like his outfield. I like the way he plays left field. I really do. I don't. It's weird.
Did Torres just do something stupid on the bases? I was looking up.
Oh, he probably got picked off. I don't know.
I think he did because guess who's running around the bases right now?
Yeah, he got picked off.
Your man Torino hit homer. That's funny. Right after Torres got picked off. That's nice.
Oh, man.
Oh, unbelievable. So they're talking about Judge. There was an article on CBS Sports about Judge, and they had 4 theories as to why Judge is not performing. And I thought the whole article was a joke, just to let you know. It was written by a guy named Mike AXISA. Mike X. It was written on April 21st, so it was before yesterday for sure. Theory 1, it's just a slump.
Yeah.
Theory 2, he's hurt. Possible. Theory 3, he's in decline, which I think is a joke because his average exit velocity in 2022, when he had a killer year, right? 95.8. Last year was 97.6, and this year it's down to 93.7. Well, yeah, that's down. But you know what?
So is his his exit velocity is down. He's not making contact. He's striking
Right.
out a lot.
And then the last one is he's cracking under the pressure of his contract. Wouldn't that have happened last year?
And he had a great last year.
He had a good year last year, but he got hurt again. He's possibly hurt.
There's a fifth philosophy. They think that he changed his walk-up music. Maybe that's
Hey, listen, you don't have to, you've seen me play baseball enough. You know, superstition is the way to go. I have my superstition of what I do every time I get up to the plate. So,
what would your if you had walk-up music? What would it be? Have you ever thought what your walk-up music? If you actually played and somebody cared to watch
if
you?
I had to choose walk-up music, I'm thinking it might be My Little Pony. I have no idea. I've never thought about what walk-up music I would like. Maybe I would like the old, if I could, I don't know if it would be legal. It might be a little bit of an issue. I wouldn't mind the old Miller High Life beer commercial.
Mm-hmm. That's not. I like that one. Or the not even that. How about the Schaefer, the one beer to have?
I wouldn't do Schaefer with my name. That would be a sacrilege.
That would be a problem. I do like the Miller though. I do enjoy that. I like the Curb Your Enthusiasm music. I don't know why, but
I would have thought
the whole idea of walking up to it works.
I would have think you might go for the One Day at a Time music just because of Schneider from One Day at a Time.
What is the One Day at a Time music?
I could find it, but I'm not going to find it because it just whatever. It would be that. But yeah, so, I mean, I've never thought about walk-up music. When I coached at the high school, when we have home games, the players have their walk-up music, and they choose it. It's really ridiculous. Big Juicy chimed in. Big Juicy has a guest for my walk-up music. Here we go.
Miller's walk-up has to be AC/DC's Highway to Hell.
I'm more of a road to hell than a highway to hell. I don't move that quick.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh my goodness!
You definitely are. It's more. Yeah, it definitely is. It's not a highway. I can't see you. It's gonna be a slow roll, baby.
Slow roll to hell. That's what it would be. So let's talk about pitching for a bit, since we're all over the place today.
Why don't we? Let's talk about pitching. There's an idea.
I pulled a lot of stats out for pitching. Oh, by the way, 1 second. I wanted to pull out Yankee strikeout to walk ratio is the best in baseball by far at 1.83. Oh, actually, I shouldn't say that. Diamondbacks are tied with them. So they're in pretty good shape with their batting ratios. The exit velocity for the Yankees is 88.7 on the average. But I'm trying to find my advanced pitching stats.
So you will now bore us all desperately
with some numbers. Let's talk about overall. What do you think of the Yankee pitching?
I'm liking. I'll tell you what I like. I really like Stroman. I know he's had his moments. He tends to give up a lot of home runs, and that's been a bit of a problem. He's gotten beaten a couple times because of it. But he's got. I like him. I like how he's going. A little bit deeper. He's trying to get a little deeper into games. Hopefully, they'll let him do it. But I like the guy. Rodon, I got to tell you, is he what we paid for? Not yet. It'll take time, but I'm happy. I like Heel. Eel. Is it Eel?
Eel. Hill. H-E-I-E-L-L. It's G-I-L. G-I-L.
I like him a lot. I love it. It's incredible. One of the nastiest fastballs I've ever seen, and I love the changeup after it. It just seems to be he's the one who's going to pitch a no-hitter this year. There's somebody who's going to come out this year and do something crazy because he's got that fastball. So I like, I don't think the starting has been so bad. I just they have these at bats, and it's because a lot of them don't finish anyone off, and they really need someone to get in there and deal with that third strike, and that's been the problem I think with their staff so far. I think otherwise they've been fine, but they need somebody who can come in and do that. And then the bullpen has the same problem. They just don't finish anybody off. Hamilton isn't the same guy this year. I don't really know what Luke Weaver is. I just kind of don't know if I want him.
Looked great, yeah.
Yeah. And they seem to get Ferguson goes in and out. Gonzalez had a great close the other day, but then and then didn't do anything else really. Then blew the game the next day. So I'm just wondering if it's I'm thinking they're good, but again they don't have that closeout guy that goes in there, blows everybody away, puts down. You get two guys on, and then one of the things that I find interesting is I don't know how well this team is going to do in extra innings this year because they don't seem to have anybody they can put away. And the strength of that ghost runner is you've got to strike somebody out or you're going to give up one run for sure. And then God forbid you give up two and the game's over. So, I think I'd like to see more of that. So my feeling is like they're okay, but I miss some of the arms of the past.
Well, what I find interesting, and this is the most interesting stat, and me, the Yankees are leading the league still on the hitting side by seeing 4.14 pitches per game per at bat.
Mm-hmm.
But on the pitching side, the Yankees are the worst in baseball. Oh no, they're not the worst. The Mets are the worst. Yankees are fourth worst in baseball in giving up 4 pitches per at bat.
Mm-hmm.
So they, every batter gets up there in the Yankee game, and it's 4 pitches.
And what do you think that means? They can't finish anyone off.
Right.
They threw too many balls. They don't seem to walk that many guys. It's not a ridiculous walk number.
I don't agree. I think they walk too many guys. I'm going to pull that up too.
So,
yeah.
Heel seems to have the highest walk numbers. Heel and Rodon.
Rodon.
But 22-13 differential is not good enough. While Strom is 28-10 is more in line. Schmidt, to me, what do you think about Schmidt?
The 6th inning thing, he seems to get tired. I don't know what it is.
They showed last night, great stat, showing how good he is for the first 2 ABs, and then he loses it in the third, which makes me think that he's a reliever. Is he out of his element?
That makes him. I think that makes him a starter in today's baseball. The problem is the Yankees have him in there, and even if he throws, if he gets through the first time through the batting order, and even if he gets through in 65 pitches, he has trouble. If he gets through in 95 pitches, he has trouble when he gets that third time through. It doesn't matter. What's interesting though is they have a problem in that Rodon throws too many pitches, so he can't stay late into games. Stroman has been throwing a lot of pitches lately because he hasn't been able to put guys away. Heel walks too many guys, so he's not able to put too many guys away. Cortez is the only one that can go deep into games, and he can't always do that. And that's an issue, and it's going to kill the bullpen, which is why they miss Cole more than anything else. Is he was going to throw 7-8 innings and throw 102 pitches and not walk guys and strike out a lot of guys. So the Yankees, as far as the walk percentage on their pitching, they walk about 9.6% of the batters that they face, which is a lot, but it's not, it's less than 10%. They're middle, they're like 8th, 10th in the league in that. But their strikeout percentage is about league average. It actually is league average at 22.7% of the batters they face, they strike out. The league average is 22.5. So that's a challenge.
Yeah. What do I just saw something that blew me away. Holmes has only with 50 plate appearances, he's only walked one guy. That's pretty amazing. He gives up a lot of hits. He gives up a lot of singles.
Yes,
he's given up 11 singles and 1 double this season. But only 10, and he isn't walking anybody. So his, I can't do the math, but his whip has to be, relatively good. So
1.083.
Yeah, that's good. So you got to be very pleased with that. His batting average against is 255. My problem with Holmes is he's only got 10 strikeouts in 50 at bats. That is something that you have to think about when they need him. Game tied, 10th inning. Did they bring him into a game tied situation? Maybe on the road, but bring him into a game tied situation. And can he get them out of is a ground ball good? Yes. If he doesn't, that run's going to score. I'd like a strikeout from him every now and again. But
strikeouts in 12 innings is not a lot. By the way, the A's are going home run batty. Phil Nevin's son did a home run. and he's
Is
playing.
that Phil? I was going to ask you. That's
Yeah,
Nevin's son.
that's the guy. He was he was a top 5 draft pick by the Orioles, and
Oh my God! I
they
just
picked him
saw it.
up. He's playing. He's playing every day now for the A's. He's been hitting the ball real well.
We didn't talk about Nestor, and we're seeing Nestor tonight. What's the story? What's going on with our boy Nestor?
Well,
Doesn't
so
seem to have that.
Luke Weaver's a revelation. Even though I'm not a big fan, I think he's going to revert. Plus, the Yankees are going to overuse him because that's what they do.
That's what they do.
And
You're right. Look at that.
And Hamilton hasn't been striking guys out like he was striking guys out. It's just not good. And Victor Gonzalez shouldn't be in the major leagues. I'm sorry. Caleb Ferguson has fallen flat lately, and I don't know why. He looked good to start. Santana doesn't. Well, Victor Gonzalez could be in the major leagues in the back end of your bullpen as a lefty. Dennis Santana should not be in the major leagues. Marinaccio seems to have found himself back where he was before he stunk last year, so that's not bad. But the Yankees bullpen, there's not much depth there. I mean, are they counting on Trevino coming back?
Mm.
I mean, that's.
I think he's. Doesn't he have a? I think he has a rehab assignment in a couple of weeks. I think they're looking at him. And
July.
who are the guys? Is it?
I think he's not supposed to be back till June or July. I thought.
Is that it? No, that's what's his name? Who's the guy
Efros?
that got the Cubbies?
Efros?
Efros is the one that does. They don't know if he's going to come back at all this year again. So, but interesting. So, so what do you think? You think they go to, maybe it's time to start looking south and bring in Clayton Beeter again. I mean, he's only pitched 3 batters this year. Maybe you've been pushing for that for a while.
Been pushing for Beeter to be their multi-inning relief pitcher. It's in the minors right now. I'm looking him up. Why don't I have his minor league stats? Trying to figure it out. Don't see his minor league stats. Has he not pitched yet this year? I don't know. I didn't even know Birdie was hurt. Did you know Birdie was hurt?
I know the other Birdie was hurt. It was very confusing with both birdies.
Both birdies are hurt. They're tweeting on the.
It's actually better when they're both hurt because I mix them up anyway.
Well, yeah, Birdie with a D and Birdie with a T. I don't even know which one's a D and one's a T, and I don't even know which he is. All right, here we go. I'm looking at Beeter right now. Beeter right now has started 3 games in the minors, and he's only pitched 12 innings. So, if he's only going to pitch 4 innings to start, get his butt back up here.
Yeah, I agree.
He hasn't been terrific. He hasn't been awful. He's got 18 strikeouts and 9 walks, so he fits in nicely on the Yankees. But he's got 18 strikeouts in 12 innings.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Bring him in for short haul. Have him come in to give him first thing. Bring him out. Have him go into some non-leverage situation, low leverage things, and then get comfortable, and then slowly bring him into the circle of trust and see what happens. Because it would be nice to have that kind of guy in there. I just I don't see anybody in the bullpen like that.
No, if he can go 2 or 3 innings, you might as well just pair him up with Schmidt every game.
Exactly. He'll be the
3 or 4, and then you got a game out of them.
That's right. There it is.
I don't see why that would be the worst. I mean,
it's interesting. Schmidt's a funny guy. You got to wonder if Schmidt just doesn't have, every game it's the same thing. He's pretty good for the first 2, and then down you go.
Times to the batting order. He's the typical major league pitcher now.
Yeah.
Which everybody hates that, but if he's your number 4 starter, that's not the worst thing in the world. I'd rather him be a number 5, but it'll be interesting to see. Cole is now throwing 25 feet. We'll see what happens. Hopefully his rehab assignment goes a little bit better than DJ's assignment went.
That's upsetting. One at bat, strikeout, and it sits down. Damn.
He struck out, and then he said, "Oh, my foot hurts."
Does it mean his Kramer look like he has a tan?
Well, maybe you've been putting him in the tanning bed. What can you do?
Maybe it's just light.
So we've been all over the place today on this show. Let's get to some trivia. How about that?
Okay.
Well, before we do that, we must have our commercial break. What I do with our commercial break? Well, on the Mic'd Up app, there are several shows that you should be listening to. There's the Jim Darby Show, an executive with Easton for a lot of years, has a lot of contacts across Major League Baseball, the NHL, and the NBA. He does a show every other week. Rick Barry has a show where he comes on and speaks his mind, which Rick Barry, if anybody's ever heard him before, knows he always does that. And then there's, of course, our friends from the highlights from the lowlifes who sit at the crossroads of pop culture and sports, sit around drinking beers because they have a sponsor that is a beer distributor, and talk about pop culture and sports and make fun of us, which is fun.
They always do.
That's all they want.
I don't think we make fun of them, do we?
Well, I picked on.
They actually say boo after every time
every time one of us comes on, yeah, they boo us.
They go boo, and if the name if the name Yankees Coast to Coast, they'll immediately say this guy Mermelschwanz calls, and every time Mermelschwanz calls, they go boo.
Well, they do it to me too. I don't know who this Mermelschwanz or Marble Dick guy is, but I use my real name.
Phil Miller.
Me too. So let's see if we can get to some. Oh, speaking of which, here we go. Highlights from a lowlifes guy. Robbie Lanterman. Do we want to give him a boo? Boo! Let's see what his trivia question is for us.
Robbie from the Highlights from Lowlife show here. Everybody knows that Andy Pettitte and Derek Jeter came and took Mariano Rivera out of the game on his last game. But do you know the name of the pitcher that replaced him?
I do.
I do. Well, first of all, he forgot J.R. Murphy because J.R. Murphy was there. I have a nice autographed picture. I got to get, I think Jeter. I have Jeter and Rivera on there. I got to get Pettitte and Murphy's autograph. Or do I have Murphy and Rivera's autograph? And I got to get the others. But the pitcher is some guy named Daly. I remember it was like the only game he ever pitched. Yeah. And the only reason I know that is that when we were with Rivera at one of the events that we worked, he asked us that same question. I don't know if you were with me or my brother was, but he asked us that question and he knew the answer. So I remembered it. Some guy named Daly. And it wasn't Mayor Daley from Chicago, who people voted for when they were. But it was some guy named Daly. I don't remember his first name. So Robbie, since I know you're listening live, let me know if I got it right. Mm-hmm. All right. Here we go. Oh, Big Juicy. Big Juicy has a comment with regard to baseball and the starts this season. And I got to be nice. He's my coach, so I need playing time.
Well, for the Giants early this season, it's more of the same old, putzing along offensively, and haven't really been able to get their money's worth yet from their most of their off-season free agent acquisitions. Lee is doing the best of the position players, hitting 284. But Matt Chapman struggling a bit at 226. Jorge Soler at 250. But on the pitching side, Blake Snell, 11.57 ERA. Wow.
He went on the IL today too.
Yeah, this is the problem. When he gets hurt,
he's gone.
Sucks. So that's what the Yankees were afraid of.
He's a contract year guy. He is a contract year guy.
And just struck out again.
So if he's on a contract year, he pitches well. I will say this: I wanted the Yankees to sign Lee to be their left-handed outfielder, and I watch in the Giants games like I get to do out here. Without much trouble and having to go on the app. He's fun to watch as a hitter. He looks like he has a little bit more pop than I thought he was going to have. Soler is Soler, and quite frankly, Chapman is a 230 hitter. I don't think they should expect anything more. And, he's a very good defensive third baseman. He's a 230 hitter, strikes out a lot, but he'll hit 30 home runs, and he'll be there at the end of the season.
Is he a right-handed? He's a right-handed bat.
Yeah, he's a streaky guy.
So he's going to have a hard time there, isn't that? Is right? What's left field like in that park?
No, right field is the harder place to hit home runs, which is what makes what Bonds did even more impressive. But with regard to the former Mets, Michael Conforto. Oh my goodness, he is having a good start. He's he's on a short deal. And, he seems to be back from all of the problems that he had. I do like I predicted that the Giants would be in the wild card, in the wild card race by the end of the season. So we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, they struggle offensively. Their pitching is whatever. I mean, they got a couple of good pitchers on their team. They have 3 that are pitching well for them in the starting, and they have a stud closer. So we'll see. Yeah, right. I do want to.
Thank you. That's a great one. Thank you.
The Dodgers, on 3 separate occasions in the same game, asked to see the baseball when Wandy Peralta was pitching.
Wow. Wandy's working.
I don't know. The Yankees. I don't remember. Even when he was going his best, nobody ever asked to see the baseball.
Yeah. We've got 9 minutes left of the show, and we got a lot of questions. So
All right, so let's go.
go.
Here we go. Let's go. Let's go to Big Juicy. We'll stick with my coach because I want to get the playing time this weekend.
I have two Stump the Chumps questions, and
Let's
leading
go.
off is, and it's according to this season's stats so far, who are the bottom two position players in terms of batting average?
I hit that already. I hit that one already, and I said I think it's Joey Gallo and Rosarina for guys who have like 80 or more at bats or plate
That's
appearances.
right.
And the only reason, like I said, the only reason that I know Rosarina is because he's on my team, and the only reason that I know Joey Gallo is because I like following Joey Gallo because I can't believe how bad he's turned into as a player. It's unbelievable. And Joey plays first base every day for the Nationals.
Yeah.
So Big Juicy, let me know.
They love him because he hits a home run. That's all he does. One thing.
He doesn't
One
need
thing.
that. All right. So let's see. Big Juicy's got another question for us.
And the second question is, again, this season's stats for the pitching staff, particularly the starting pitchers, who has the best and the worst ERA?
Well, worst ERA, the worst ERA I know because I was looking at it again and researching for the show. I don't know that I would have known it. I would have actually guessed the White Sox if I had to guess, but I think when I looked at it, it's the Rockies, which is not surprising either. But I would have thought it was the White Sox with their negative 85 run differential would have been the worst. But again, I don't know that I would have guessed the White Sox and been wrong. The answer is the Rockies. But again, I ran into that answer in doing the research and talking about the Yankees. As far as best ERA, I know the Yankees were up there, but they're not anymore. I don't know who the team with the best ERA is. Do you know?
No, I do not. Not right now, but I'm going to find out right now. I'm going to
I'm
cheat.
I'm
I want
finding
to
out right.
look at what I'm doing right now.
I'm looking
Okay.
for. But Big Juicy, if you want to chime in and let me know if I got anything
Tell us
wrong.
what it is. Come on, jump in. See, that's what I wish. I wish people could get to the app fast enough to do it. If they're not listening, then they
Here
can't.
we
So,
go. I've got it. ERA.
hmm?
The best ERA in baseball is the Boston Red Sox.
Yes, and
And
their
it is,
starters are
wow,
outrageous.
2.49 ERA. The Yankees are second best at 2.95. But 2.49, the Red Sox are the best ERA.
Yeah, that's surprising to me, and I'm sorry, that's not going to last to our beloved Red Sox fans. I know that that's even Joe Scarborough talks about that. As painful as it is, that there's no way that the Red Sox are going to be,
Oh,
leading
so
the league.
Big Juicy had the question. His question was really a
As far as
Yankee
the
question.
best ERA, I meant on staff with the Yankees. Which Yankee starting pitchers, best and worst?
All right, their starters. It has to be
I think it's Rodon.
Rodon.
And the
Worst
worst
has got to be is our boy here. Is our boy
is Nestor. It's either gonna be Nestor or Schmidt, even though Schmidt's only allowing 3 runs per shot. I'll look it up real quick. I'm looking it up, and the answers are best ERA is Carlos at 2.7, Heel at 2.75, Stroman at 2.93, 3.41 going into tonight for Nestor, and 3.55 for Schmidt. Guess what? If your five starters all have an ERA of 3.55 or less, you're going to be
Yeah,
in
we
good
got to give
shape.
these guys a little credit. This starting's been very, very good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good starting staff. So we
That
cheated.
is.
We
We
cheated, Big Juicy.
Sorry,
Oh,
but
Bobby Landerman says I got it right. The guy's name was Matt Daly. So I got the Daly part right.
Matt Daly.
And like I said, it's only because I had a conversation with Rivera. I would never have known that. And when
Darn it.
Rivera speaks, you listen. All right.
Go to Frankie. What's Frankie ask here about? Something about 1970.
Let's go. Frankie's question.
This is an easy one. In 1970, a doubleheader against the Cleveland Indians turned out to be a wacky one. Bobby Mercer first hit a home run in the first game, and then 3 consecutive in the second game, which gave him 4 in a row. Also, there was a cherry bomb that came from the upper deck and landed at Ray Fosse's feet.
Rang through it.
And actually burnt his foot, and he fell over. And the third, there was a player prior to the game said, I will crawl into the dugout if Steve Hamilton strikes me out on a folly floater. Who is that player?
Oh, I remember that on Cleveland. It was a big name player. It wasn't Andre Thornton. Holy cow.
No.
I don't remember. I could see it. Who was a big time player on the Cleveland Indians in 1970?
All right. What did it
I
been?
remember that. I could see the guy crawling back to the dugout. Frankie, you're going to have to call in and give us the answer. I don't think I know it. I can visualize it, but I can't do it. Let's see what Frankie's.
Who was good on that team then? Rico Carty, maybe?
No, 1970 Cleveland Indians. 1970 Cleveland Indians. He definitely stumped the chumps.
We get stumped a lot. We are stumpers. We don't even.
Frankie.
Here
we go. Here we go. Frankie gave us the answer.
Okay, it was Willie Horton's distant relative, Tony Horton. I was there at the game.
That's because you were at the game because you threw the cherry bomb. That's why you were at the game, Frank. We knew it was you.
Admit it.
The statute of limitations.
Years. You were 40 years old and you did it back then. We knew it was you.
I'm telling you, Frankie, the statute of limitations has run out. And if you need a lawyer, Kramer's available. All right, Frankie's he's got another question.
Frankie here again. This one's half easy. In one season, Horace Clarke broke up 3 no-hitters in the 9th inning. In fact, he did it in less than a month. Name that year. Also, since then, only one other player achieved that feat. Name that player.
Well, Horace Clarke is your guy. Do you have any guesses?
Maybe 69. 1969.
You just have a dirty mind. That's why you're saying that. I think it was 72. I have no idea. Frankie's going to have to chime in. There's one other player that broke. There's one other player that's broken up 3 no-hitters, and I figure I should know that. It's a guy who broke up Musina's no-hitter when he was pitching one wasn't it against the Red Sox?
I think it was. No, I think it was Cesar Tovar.
No, well, Frankie gave us the answer on that one as well. Here we go.
It was 1970, and the other player was Joe Mauer.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So now Rob Weber, also from Low Life, he's come in with a couple of trivia questions, which will stump the chumps. Let's go.
All right. Trivia question for you guys. What were the Yankees called before they were called the Yankees?
Well, there's a couple
of things.
Second
question.
Oh.
What was Don Mattingly's nickname? He actually had 2 of them. What were they?
That's easy. So the nicknames are easy.
Got it. One.
Donnie Baseball.
And the other one?
The Hitman. As far as what the Yankees were called, if you want to go all the way back, they were the Baltimore Orioles. But that's beside the point. Then they were the Hilltoppers and the Highlanders.
Yes.
And we know these things because the Hilltoppers and the Highlanders are 2 of the names that the Yankees fantasy camp teams have.
Nope, they never used Hilltoppers. They
don't use Hilltoppers anymore. They used it our first camp.
Did they?
They used Highlanders because that's our team, right? We are the Highlanders, aren't we?
We're the Highlanders now, but they were not the Hilltoppers.
Okay, so there's the Highlanders.
But you're correct. The really good answer is that they were actually the Baltimore Orioles. That's the tough one. Yeah. People never can believe the Yankees moved from Baltimore in 1903 maybe, was it, or 4? So because they started in 03, and then I'm just thinking the first time they ever played was 03, so I'm wondering if that was the year, and then they became the Yankees probably around 1910 maybe, something like that.
They became
1913. Many believe that the Yankees shed their original Highlanders nickname in 1913 when they abandoned Hilltop Park. That's not helping us at all.
I mean, just think about it. When the Giants were in New York, they were literally across the bridge at the thinnest point of the Hudson River. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the Hudson that's right there, isn't that?
No, that's the Harlem.
Harlem River? I guess that's
River. That's a great thing to see. People, and I know our Giant buddies know this because they're Giant fans, probably always are historically interested in their team. But can you imagine having 2 of America's best baseball teams literally playing 30 feet apart? I mean,
the other one, Brooklyn,
about 100 yards apart on the
Yeah. I mean, they were a Babe Ruth home run apart. And then the Dodgers were in Brooklyn. I mean, come on. It was that baseball center of the universe.
And then, we'll finish on this, but, to have three teams and then to have both of them leave. Can you just imagine the Yankees say, you know what? The Yankees decide we're just going to move. We're going to Yemen. We're going to become the Yemen Yankees. It's like that's what it might as well have been in those days, to go all the way to LA and San Francisco. Incredible.
Hey,
I mean, my father died in 1969. So from 57 to 69, I don't think he ever gave a damn about baseball again. He would take us to Yankee games, to Yankee Stadium, but he had lost his passion, and it must have been horrible to lose your team like that. Whatever.
Listen, where I work at $17.14 an hour. So they're moving.
Your parents must be so proud.
Nobody, and what's funny is where the A's wanted to build their new stadium is literally across the bay from where the Giants are. You would be able, if the stadiums were, if the weather was clear in the stadiums, you could pretty much see one stadium from the other, depending on how they built the A's stadium. And it still would be much farther apart than the Yankees and the Giants were.
Sure. In a 30-second close, can you give us the current state of the A's situation with the move? Are they going to play in Sacramento? Are they staying in Oakland for another year? What's the latest?
I don't know. They tell me nothing. Would you believe at $17.14 an hour sitting in the box office, I am not on the inside, so I know nothing?
You're not in the circle of trust.
How am I not in the circle of trust? I am not. I did wait, but I will say this. A little kid came to my box. I was working in the internal box office, and a little kid came to my box office and needed a pencil because they gave him a pencil with his scorebook that wasn't sharpened, and there's no pencil sharpeners around. So I went all over the A's offices to try and find the pencil sharpener, and I found the pencil sharpener, and it was in Mickey Morabito's office, former Yankee traveling secretary, friend of Billy Martin. He was in there, and instead what he did is he gave me a new Oakland A's pencil that was sharpened to give to the little kid, and both he and I were very impressed that a little kid, I said he couldn't be more than 10 years old, wanted to keep score. So he was very anxious to give me that pencil so that the kid would have a way to keep score.
Employee of the month for that one? I think you deserve Employee of the Month.
I won it last year, but I don't know about this. Nice. So as far as the status of things, this is what I know. And it's nothing new because it's all out in the public because they don't tell me anything. The A's have a handshake agreement to go to Sacramento. The A's, part of the agreement is the A's are going to upgrade the lights and they're going to upgrade the clubhouses. But it's a handshake. The A's owners and a handshake are not exactly reliable.
No,
I mean, they've had a whole bunch of agreements with all people for a long time. The other thing that's interesting is they're still looking for investors to help them pay for the ballpark in Vegas, which is on the site where the Tropicana is going to be. The Tropicana should be flattened. As a matter of fact, I think it was supposed to be this week or next week that the Tropicana is actually going to be flattened, or it's closing, and then it's going to be flattened shortly after that. And that's the location.
Where's Ricky Ricardo going to play?
Ricky Ricardo, isn't he the Yankee Spanish language broadcaster?
Yes, he is. That's a good one.
So, Ricky, the Tropicana was in New York City for Ricky Ricardo, wise guy. He played at the Tropicana because what was the name of the club that they got into the fight at that they weren't allowed to use the name?
The Tropicana, famous place.
It's not where they had the fight. Where'd the Yankees get? Billy Martin got into the fight. It was a different club.
No, it was the Tropicana.
Was it?
That was the famous one, and he was gone within a couple of days. That was
it was the Copa. It was the Copacabana.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Frankie chimed in to remind us it was
Thank you, Frankie, because Frankie was at the Copa that night.
Lucy and Ricky were not allowed to use Copacabana as the real name.
Right.
And they made it the Tropicana.
But Frankie, next time we want you to tell us about that because we understand that you got in the middle of that fight and broke it up. So
I think he threw a cherry bomb. He threw a cherry bomb just like he did at the stadium, Ray Fosse. All right, we're out of here. We were wandering aimlessly. We were the wandering aimless Jews. Since it's Passover, we're still in the desert. Yes. Thanks for listening. We have no idea what we're going to talk about next week. Hopefully, we'll be a little bit more focused. Obviously, both of us are well showered and clean today.
Sometimes it's just fun. Let's just talk. Sometimes it's just, we're buddies. We love the Yankees. It's okay. And we got Kramer. Look at Kramer. My Kramer has a tan. Your Kramer's pale. It's like your winter Kramer. I'm summer. I'm fantasy camp Kramer.
Well, all I got to say is happy birthday, Daniel Q. Kramer, Esquire. God bless you. Thank you, everybody. See you next week on the show. And what we'll talk about, we do not know. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.